Hello, good day and welcome to the Little Farmer's Farm with me, Guru Murphinda, aka Tony. On today's episode we're going to be putting the final positions in place for the brassicas, the winter brassicas. So we've got the purple sprouting broccoli, the hero spring cabbage, and also we've got some Borah Kale, some winter Borah Kale. Now, two of those plants we're going to be planting on today. The Borah Kale is probably going to be tomorrow because it's wilting a little bit, and I'm letting it get a chance to soak up a little bit of moisture because they dried out a little bit, which is never good, and we don't want to shock them too much, so I'm giving them a chance to sort of to perk up. I'll show you what I mean. I've just put them into the water now. See, they're a little bit droopy and floppy and not very vigorous and rampant. So we'll give them a chance to perk up overnight, and then tomorrow we'll be planting those ones out. But the cabbage and the broccoli are showing much rampance and vibrancy. Okay, so for our Brassica plant mix, we're going to be mixing up the compost, which is the compost that we get from Pole Green. I think it's a sort of coconut coir based stuff. So that compost from Pole Green we're going to be using. We're going to be using some chicken manure pellets, organic chicken manure pellets, and some blood, fish and bone, along with vermiculite. All that's going to be mixed up in this big builder's bucket called a trommel. That's the trommel. So as I say, we're going to get the vermiculite, the blood, fish and the bone, the chicken pellets, and some multi-purpose compost from Pole Green Nurseries, and that's 3 bags for £11, which ain't too shabby. Okay guys, I hope you can see okay there. I'm having to use a tripod because the cameraman's on furlough obviously today. We've got half a bag, or about a litre of the vermiculite. We've got the blood, fish and bone there. I've got a cup that I've already put the chicken manure pellets into. So that's just like a standard, probably like a teacup size really, because they're very thin, these. And all we're going to do is add the compost in. I'm going to fill half of that up with the compost and mix it around. It's probably going to take about half a bag of the compost. I've just bashed it about a little bit, the bag, to try and break up the pieces and decompact the material. And all you do is you run your fingers through like that, get rid of all the big lumps, take all of those out. You don't take them out, you just crumble them up so it's a bit more crumbly and less compacted. Keep picking it up and working your hands through it. It's good to get your hands dirty from time to time, guys. Can't see my beautiful face, can you? It's probably a blessing in disguise. Right, so that's in there. Your next step, get your litre of compost. There's probably about, I'd say 35 litres of compost. So get a litre of the vermiculite, not the compost obviously, the vermiculite, and get that in. You can start working that through the mix. Get it all mixed in. And this will be about, what I would say, only about 5 to 10% really of vermiculite, because you don't want a terribly loose mix of compost, because brassicas like a bit of a firm seat, so it doesn't have to be too aerated and too vermiculite and broken up. Well, that goes into there like that, and then you get the chicken manure. And the chicken manure is not good. It's not going to be vastly full of nutrition, because we're going to be adding nutrition to the brassicas by using the nettle tea. The nettle tea is going to be the main thing. Can you see my hand there? Oh yeah, there's the tickly hand. Anyway, that goes in. And then the blood, fish and bone goes in. Like the same again. Get that in there. That's just to give them a bit of nutrition. It's going to be a kind of sort of nitrogen rich mix. That I'll just get me a little stool so I'm not bending over all the bloody time. My little stool I can sit on. And you want to give that a thorough working through as well. And get it all integrated into the compost mix, the growing medium. All soil is, and any kind of thing that you grow plants in, really, it's a growing medium. It's somewhere for the roots to spread the wings, and that's all you're doing, really. You're providing an environment for the root system to develop, and it'll draw its nutrition from that for the plant. But I mean, like, if you think about things like hydroponics doesn't tend to use soil. It just uses the sort of liquid nutrition that the plant gets to its roots through you know, the fish poo impregnated water or whatever they're using. But we want the root system to grow. Good strong roots, good strong plants as ever. So we'll try and give them their best shot. The plants are already started, obviously, in the cells, but once they get potted on into the bigger pots, then it's at that stage then that they need to be drawing the nutrition through. We're going to be liquid feeding, as I say, with a nettle tea going forward, but for the first month we're not going to be doing that, so we're going to give them something to sort of grab hold of, something to draw some energy from in the meantime. And as we go forward through the winter months, we'll be adding in with liquid feed, yeah, with a nettle tea, because the brassicas love the nettle tea. The brassicas love any leafy green, really, will love nitrogen, likes nitrogen. Okay, so that's the mix. I'm going to probably need about 2 bags worth, so I'll have to do that probably about 4 times, because I'll get about 2 or 3 buckets out of that, 2 or 3 buckets worth out of that, and I want to do 12 plants in here. So yeah, we'll get cracking with that then. I just thought I'd show you that, the mix. Alright, okay, so then all we do is we get the small Asda cut flower buckets. These are the smallest ones that they do. When the flowers come in them, these are the smallest ones. Ask at your local Asdas. We get them for free, they just give them to us, they save us them. But anyway, some Asdas don't. We're in Wigan where everybody's dead good and friendly and saintly, really, in many ways. So anyway, these go in. All we do is fill them up to about 1 inch off the top. Right, just make sure that the compost is fairly in there. Give them a bit of a tap, and then you can just top off as needs be to the level that you want. The level that you want, as I say, is about 1 inch from the top, because when you put the plant in there, when I transplant the plant in there, it's already going to have its soil from its own pot. So you don't need them at this stage filling right up to the very top. In fact, even in the end, you don't want them all the way up to the very top, because you'll need a little bit of a lip to pour in your liquid feed, so it doesn't go all spilling out over the top. So that's it. Right, and I'll show you the next bit, which is basically getting the plants in the pots. Okie dokie. Alright, so there's one of our pots. Take a couple of bits of bric-a-brac off the top. We need to make a hole, an impression, in the centre of that, like that. Into that we take the same sized pot that the actual plant is now in, and we make that impression into there. And what we'll do then is we'll just make sure it's sort of all around it and seated in, so the pot's seated in. And then we get our little plant, Exhibit A. This is a Spring Hero F1. We get in and carefully, holding like that, squeeze and gently ease. Come on, out you come. Bit damp, this fella. Out of the pot like that, and then we take our little imprint, and again, as careful as you can be. This is the tricky part. Drop him in there. All right. Some people fluff up the tease out the roots, but they'll find their own way. It's going to be fine. That. Just firm him in. Now, when I potted these on into these pots, when I potted them on into them pots, I firmed around the stem at that stage. But with the remaining soil that you've got in there, just give it a bit of a tink around with that. The reason that they like a firm seat is because outside the wind and what have you blows them about a bit, and so you want strong stems, you want supported stems for your brassicas. So I'll just pop that back in. Hero Spring, you can see that properly. There you go, like that. Hero Spring cabbage. Right, that's one done. I'll get the other ones done now, and then we'll put them on into the watering trays. Hello! Now, one other thing that we do when we're planting on these baby plants, these baby brassicas, into the big buckets, is we remove the juvenile or the baby leaves, the first leaves. Now, if you look at this one, if you look at that plant, you can see these at the bottom. Those were the first leaves that appeared when the seed germinated and sent out its leaves. Now, all I do is with my thumbnail is I just gently nip them out. And if you look at the base of that plant, there's the thin stem where it met the basal leaf, the initial leaf, and then it gets fatter. What I then do, and you can do this with brassicas, is you can bury them up to where the next set of leaves are, just below the next set of leaves. Now, what that does, there's about an inch there of stem that's going to be covered and supported by the soil in the new pot. That helps to keep that stem stronger, less likely to fall over, and you're not going too far up the stem where you can get rotting to occur. You don't want to go too much above that, so about 2 centimetres from its original base level is where the new true leaf is. Now, you can, as I say, bury that up until around about there, just below that first true leaf. We've never had any issues doing that at all. And it gives that little bit of extra support. While it's a juvenile plant, it gives it the little bit of extra support as it's growing. And you firm it in. Don't go too savagely firm with it, but you firm it in and take a look at this is what I do anyway. I'm not saying I'm perfect in any way, although the guru is the guru, and we haven't had many issues. Certainly doing this outside we haven't. So that's what we do, up until there, just so it's just below where the first true leaf is. That's the level of the soil. Okay. And then what we do with these baby leaves that we've cut off, is just pop them in your mouth. Have a little nutritious snack. Okay, now all I'm going to do is give them a little bit of a watering in around the base, just to bed them in. These are the purple sprouting broccoli. In the tray there's about 3/4 of an inch of water gone into the tray, but this is just so that the soil can get around the little plant. Now it's seated in there, and fill in any air gaps that are down there, and everything should be hunky-dory. They should be gently introduced to their new little homes. Be quite contented inside these Asda buckets. Like I say, we will be feeding them, and we'll be liquid feeding them in a very similar way to what I'm doing now with the water, bedding them in. Just a gentle feed with the nettle tea, and that'll be probably in about a month's time. When these plants get to a size probably twice the size of that, that's when I'm going to start feeding them, and that'll be about 8 weeks into their life cycle over winter. Now in the summertime you'd probably double that frequency, so that would be like 4 weeks into the life cycle. Then you'd feed every 2 weeks with it, but over winter they're not going to be growing as rampantly as they would do in spring and early summer. So they're not going to be needing as much feed. They're going to be growing a lot slower. They'll be growing over the space of about 5 or 6 months to get to full maturity, whereas in spring, summertime, they'll take about probably 3 months to 10 weeks, something like that, from seed to harvest. They grow a lot quicker during the spring and summer months. So yeah, that's the only real difference. That's some nettle tea that we made earlier. So if I put 100 mils into there, that's 200 mils, but that's a 2 litre watering can, so that's about right. You want a 10% mix, so that goes into there, and then all we do is we get this and take it to our water butt, the sealed water butt that comes off the tiki hut roof, goes in through these in a relay. So if I get some water in there, and top that up, I'm wasting water there, look, can I? Got plenty more of that into there. We can check it because we've got some plants that do require it at the moment. They're coming on to the 3-month mark, these, so they're due the first feed. There's the cauliflower in the slug fort. We'll give the little winter Borah Kale a bit as well, I think. It'll do them no harm, that. And so there they all are in the tomato watering trays. So those are the trays that people put the big bags of tomato compost in, do you know what I mean, when they're growing the tomatoes in them. You can get them from B&Q, Paul Green Nurseries, B&M Bargains, all over the place. And they're around about £5 at the moment, but usually at Christmas time they drop down. But with all the interest in gardening since lockdown this year, it doesn't seem like the prices are dropping. But you can use them again and again and again. I mean, we've had them for 5 years, nothing wrong with them. You'll get 10 years out of them. I've worked it out per pot there, and it's around about 60 pence per pot for each plant, so I don't think that's too bad value. And hopefully I've put the broccoli, the purple sprouting broccoli, in this location because you've got the height there. You've got a good 3 to 4 feet for the plants to grow on in. The cabbages won't need that sort of height, but it will need the girth, so you need to have about 20 inches or so around each plant. I'm hoping they're going to be fine in there, inside this polytunnel all through winter, and hopefully then at sort of end of January into February we'll be starting to get some crops out of them. Certainly with these ones. We've got the cauliflower in here. Now there's 7 in here and there's 1 in the lady farmer's greenhouse, and they're doing well. These cauliflowers are looking really nice. Now that we've sorted that slug issue out that we had, they're looking good. I'm going to have another tidy up inside this polytunnel and keep it neat and tidy and what have you. So yeah, winter greens and healthy vegetables. That's what you want through the winter months. Get those vitamins inside you, keep you healthy. I'm on a bit of a health kick at the moment, trying to quit the smoking, cut down the drinking, lose some weight and get some more exercise in my life, which is I think of benefit. As much sunshine as you can get on your skin as well this time of year. It is relatively sunny though, a little bit overcast and cloudy from time to time today, but get out in the fresh air, get out in nature, and keep yourselves fit and healthy, and fight all this global craziness that's going on. You'll have a better chance, won't you, if you're fit. That's all for me for today. Thursday today. We're hurtling towards the weekend, boys and girls. So yeah, get down your plots, get your preparations made, and keep growing with your heads down. We love you all. Good Murphinda signing out. If I don't see you through the week, I'll see you through the window. And keep growing with your heads down. That's the key. And there's the sign. Keep growing with your heads down. So bye bye everybody. Take care, peace, love, and namaste.